Today, the trade union action launched by the non-academic staff attached to universities and higher education institutions entered its 15th consecutive day. It's now reported that the trade union is preparing to take a bold step forward from midnight tonight.
Over 15,000 non-academic staff are engaged in this trade union action, citing 5 main demands. Subject Minister Kabir Hashim has held a discussion with the trade union before assuming duties. However, once he took up the position officially, the trade union has not been provided a single round of talks to solve the matter.
Academic activities are not taking place within the universities. If this situation continues, the number of graduates in the future will drop. This will lead to a crisis. Students suffered a lot when they raised issues over SITEM. They are facing the same situation due to the non-academic staff strike action. This is a crime. There is no point in changing ministers. The government needs to provide a solution to this issue. As students, we will have to waste our time at home. A minister was replaced by another. The new ministers need to understand the situation. This is a crime. We demand the government to stop playing with the students' lives. We will support this struggle. We need professionals to develop the country, but the students do not get an opportunity to study.
This afternoon, the University Trade Union Joint Committee elaborated on their future course of action.
We will no longer be involved in all essential services, including tending to water supply and electricity. There are samples on oral cancer at the University of Peradeniya. We will not be responsible for what happens to them. From midnight tonight, we will refrain from these duties. The Minister of Higher Education must attend to this, considering it a national emergency. The Treasury is facing an issue with regard to debt management, and there is an issue in raising the wages. Once we get approval from the Treasury, we will meet the promises. We request the non-academic staff to not cripple the education of the university students. We must solve this through dialogue.
We are now going to cross over to the newsroom where senior journalist Mr. Asoka Dias is standing by to give us a history and more details of the non-academic staff strike action. Now, Mr. Dias, when we identify these staff members as academic and non-academic staff, what does it mean?
Yes, Shaheen, in the university structure, the people who are involved in the academic work are the academic staff. That means the professors, the lecturers, senior lecturers, they come under the academic category, as well as the librarian, assistant librarian, they are academic staff. And then you have a whole set of administrative staff who are maybe in the finance sector, maybe in the administrative sector, maybe in the labs who facilitate the educational process, and maybe in the farms, because universities has farms, and all that staff come under non-academic sector.
Yes, now, Mr. Dias, we do understand that over these 15,000 non-academic staff are protesting, citing 5 demands. But the question is, what is the real reason behind this strike action?
Staff is demanding monthly compensatory allowance, which was promised to them in 2017 by UGC and the Ministry of Higher Education. Now, the key to understand this is the phrase, monthly compensatory allowance. What is being compensated? Now, when you go back to the history from 1990s, late 1990s onwards, there were a certain allowances offered to the academic staff. Research allowance, academic allowance, additional allowance, there are various terms for that. The non-academic trade unions claim that the academic staff certain academic staff get about 160%, 167% of their basic salary as various allowances. So they are also demanding 100% of their basic salary as an allowance. Now, government has promised to offer that in 2017 in stages.
Mr. Dias, now this issue is believed to have been persistent for a while now, since 2016. So what is the reason for this to crop up now?
As promised, the UGC had to pay about 25% of this monthly compensatory allowance increment in January 2018, which the UGC hasn't honored. So the trade unions of the non-academic staff are on strike for the last 15 days. The crux of the matter is the academics of this country has to be compensated. They have to be compensated for their good work and academic work. They are a special category. And rest of the university staff are also claiming this part of this allowance, claiming part of that. Is it fair? But the flip side is the government has already promised to give this in 2017. So when a government takes a decision, it is the responsibility of the government to honor that. There must be coherent policy and there must be a well thought out plan to ensure that the country's higher education sector is functional and the young people of this country are not disturbed in their education.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Asoka Dias. Of course, that was Mr. Asoka Dias, senior journalist, giving us a history and more details of the non-academic staff strike action.